Okay guys, I've already gone ahead and primed my face with MAC Prep and Prime, and the moisturizer that I use when I'm doing my makeup is the MAC Studio Moisture Fix. And right now I'm going in and doing my brows. My brows are pretty bald headed, so I don't have the luxury of just filling them in. I have to actually draw them on. And I start from where my nose begins, just because I feel like it gives more dimension to my face. Because if I actually started where my brow starts, that would be almost towards the middle of my eye. And the pencils that I'm using, they're really generic little cheap ones. They both came from a beauty supply. This little stunted one is actually an eyeliner, but I really like the way it does my brows. It has a consistency that doesn't rub off like some of the pomades and gels that I've used. So it works for me, and I use it for multiple purposes. And excuse my ashy hands. Okay, so you see me drawing them on pretty dark and block shape, but I will fix them, and I'm doing that now with my little spoolie on the end of my other brush. And then I just go in and make sure I have those lines really clean, and I go ahead and go under with concealers, most people do, just to clean it up. And I am making sure that I do not have those square blocky brows. Some people may like them, but I just don't think that they're for me. And then I'm still cleaning up and blending out that concealer under my eye with a brush that just does the job a little better than my little angled contour brush. Now I am going in and concealing, and this concealer is Tarte, and the color is Rich. And I really like this concealer. It does such a great job covering my discoloration. Before I started using this concealer, I used to have to color correct and still use a concealer, and this just does the job. As you can see, it just covered all of that up, and I highly recommend it if you suffer from discoloration. Their product is really high pigment, and it's amazing. And I am blending this out with a concealer brush from Sephora, and I will leave a number in the description box below. And I'm taking my little beauty blender off camera. I applied the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder just to set it. And I showed this Real Techniques brush, but I actually ended up just using the brush that came in the palette I just showed you guys. And this palette is the Naked 2 palette. And the first color that I'm using is TDK, the lighter color. And as always, you work from light to dark. And the darker color that I'm going to go in after this at the corner of my eye is called Busted. And I'm just gonna make sure that that's nice and blended and that it has a really good looking effect. I did not use a transition color just because the concealer still had that, gave me a good look where I felt like it wasn't needed. And the eyeliner that I'm using is just a little eyeliner from NYX. It's sort of big in my hand. I usually use a gel eyeliner from MAC, but I ran out, so I made this one work. Going back in and cleaning and blending, cleaning and blending. To me, that's all what it's about, is making sure everything is nice and blended and even looking. Now I'm going under my eye, and this is kind of like the little Crayola. I'm not sure if that's the proper name, but the Crayola eyeliner, just to line my lower line. And now I'm going in with my favorite mascara of all time, and I'm just making sure that that wasn't brown because I mistakenly bought a brown one. But Cover Lash is great. Look what it did to my lashes. I'm just kidding. These are falsies, and the brand is Tarte, and the name of them is Girlboss. And I am going in now, and I just took a dark eyeshadow, a black eyeshadow, just to give my eyes a little more dimension. Now it is time for foundation, and this is the Cover FX foundation in the shade 110. And the brush that I'm using is from Sephora. I really love Sephora's brushes, and the number is 59. Now I am just going to go ahead and set my foundation with a powder from MAC in the color Dark Plus. Okay, now I am going in and concealing, and I'm sorry, not concealing, I am contouring, and the color that I use is a color called Film Noir. It's actually a blush from MAC, and I do contour first just because I feel like when I contour first, it gives me a good parameter of where to keep my highlight. Before I used to contour first, I used to highlight too much, and when you over highlight, it kind of just changes the complexion of your skin, and that was never my intention. Your highlighting is to bring the light to your face and to highlight your best features. So when I contour first, I kind of know when I'm going a little too far outside of my range. And I'm just blending. And now I am going to highlight, and I'm going to stay within that area that I contoured earlier. And you kind of can see that I already had a bit of a highlight effect from when I concealed my eyes earlier. And if this was a normal look, then I would have just left it like that. But since this is a poppin' Instagram baddie, watch me transform tutorial, then I am going to take it up a notch. And right now I'm just blending, and this is the brush that I got off Amazon. It's actually really good, and it was about $8 or $9, I believe. I will leave the link below to where I purchased. Now I am going ahead and lining my lips with that same little stunted pencil that you saw earlier. This pencil is amazing, and it just came from a beauty supply. And I overline my lips just because they're so small and I want them to appear bigger. And this lipstick that I'm using is a brown liquid lipstick, and the brand is called Lime Crime, and I will leave the shade below, but I believe it's Salem. And what I just showed you guys, what I'm going to highlight with, is actually a bronzer, and it is from Sonia Kashuk. It's that Target brand, and I am not using the correct brushes for this. I could not find my highlighting brush, but I worked with what I had, and it did the job. It just took me a little bit longer than I normally would have taken. And I am blending out that contour from earlier. I should have contoured my forehead more since I'm in the Rihanna gang. Big foreheads, wavy hands. I should have contoured more, but I didn't. And then I'm highlighting my Cupid's bow with the same color eyeshadow that I used earlier from the Naked palette. And just going down the middle of my nose. You may notice I didn't contour my nose on camera. I really didn't do a contour at all. It just wasn't working. Some days my contour works, some days it doesn't. But in this day it was not working. And this is pretty much the finished look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you guys later. And don't forget to follow me on social media.